Hey y'all, and good morning. Well, guess where I am at? I am finally back home. So we had a lovely time on our little trip to Beech Mountain. Before then, we spent a couple of days with my mom while she was in the hospital. So thank you for all the kind wishes and prayers that you sent out for her. She has one more procedure to go, but she is doing so much better. So we enjoyed our little vacation time. So now we are back home. I did not get to film a May garden tour, but I am going to share my reaction to being gone 10 days and what my garden looks like today. So I can't wait to share that with you guys. All right, let's go take a look. So let's just start right here on the front porch. So my daughter told me that the gardenias were not doing very well. So she kind of pulled them up here in the front to see if they needed some more sun. But this is kind of what the leaves look like now. The dichondra is doing really good. And the petunias are doing really good. The euphorbia, everything looks great except for the geranium. So we're going to have to do some investigating on these and see what is going on. But other than that, they look pretty good. And everything is growing really nicely. Here is our little Supertunia Vista Bubblegum, and she is doing really well, just growing there in her pot. She's probably tripled in size. And then here is our Vego garden, and it is doing very well. We actually have some little strawberries that are coming up. We do have some yellow leaves here on some of the tomato plants, but everything else is looking pretty good. Look at all the little blossoms here on this tomato. Let's see if I can get a little bit closer. There we go. And this is the Bush Goliath, and this is a determinate tomato. So it was recommended for containers. So we will see how that does. And then going over this way, we have this African basil, and it is doing really, really good. Getting nice and big and tall. Strawberries all doing very well. This one down here has died. That's okay. Some of these were transplants, and then some of these were ones I bought fresh. So do have a couple little holes here. These were the transplant ones that have the little holes. But overall, it's looking pretty good. Our little chives are growing in well here. I kind of find it's a little bit hard to grow chives, but these are actually doing pretty good. So we'll see how that goes. And then as we go over here, we can see all the leaves from those geraniums. So we'll have to get all that cleaned off. Looks like my daughter went to the garden center and picked up some more flowers. So these are really pretty. These are the double up red begonias. So I guess she's got a little plan in mind for those. And then we got some Gara that needs desperately needs some water. And this is the graceful white Gara. And then she's got a little coleus here. And then some little begonias here. So that looks like a little fun project. And this is her little planter here with the creeping Jenny. And then she also has the dahlia here that is not doing very well. Looks like it's had something chewing on it, and it may have some dead here. So we definitely need to address this and kind of see what's going on with that. You know, plants are just like babies. They have to be tended to. And this is her begonia. This is the one by Monrovia. So it actually looks pretty good. Just needs a little deadheading. But this has been a workhorse. This begonia here is beautiful. And as we can see, somebody has been enjoying our chairs. I wonder who that could be. Miss Winnie. So we'll have to get those cleaned off. The geraniums that we grew from seed, these are the apple blossom. These are seeds from my seeds. They're doing pretty good. They got little yellow leaves here on the side. But overall, there's 3 plants in here. They're doing really well, so I can't wait to see those bloom. And then our Supertunia Vista Bubblegum, maybe just a little deadheading to clean it up a little bit, but it's doing great. And then we have the snowdrift. I think we might need to rotate that one a little bit. It's really stretching for the light, so maybe have to move this and move it around. But it's doing really, really good. So let's go down the stairs and we'll take a look at the flowers down there. Okay, so as we're coming down, our apple blossom geranium, this is the one that we wintered over last year. And this is the one that I got the seeds from to grow the new plant. So I like to let them dry, and then I'll be able to collect seeds from this plant as well this year. But isn't that doing great to be wintered over? We just wintered it over on the front porch, so it's doing really good. And then the little sister plant over here, I did notice yesterday when I was coming up that I guess maybe we had some wind. One of the little branches over here had broke, so it's not quite as full as the one on the right side, but it's still doing very good. And then our little plant up here is doing beautiful. So these little pots on our porch are doing great. Of course, our arborvitaes are always doing good. They've got these little bitty, I don't know, like little cone seeds on them. They're so cute. Doing great. They do have a little weeds growing here, but we will get that all cleaned up. And you can see the new growth this year on it. Really pretty. When I was in Banner Elk, I took a video, and in front of the little restaurant there, they had arborvitaes in little whiskey barrels, and they were, I don't know, probably 12 foot tall. They're huge. Then we have our little daylilies over there in that corner. That's my daughter's daylilies. And then we have our whole drift of snowdrifts here. And these are proven winners, and they are a Supertunia Vista snowdrift. So they are doing really good. And then we have our endless summer hydrangeas. This is the Blushing Bride. And you can see like this setup that I have. So I have the little deer fence. And I got this idea from Kim with Backyard Blooms by Kim. So this is the deer fence made with a fishing line. And then we've got these little lights here. That's supposed to like make the deer get scared away. So between this and that, they are finally putting on growth because the deer were just eating these plants alive. And this was the one I had to transplant. So it's a little bit different shape than these here. So they're all doing well. I do notice that this one gets wilty really quick, so I have to make sure it has extra water on it. Then we have a little drift of our Supertunia Vista bubblegums. Of course, everything needs to be fertilized too. And I spaced these a little bit closer together because like in the video I talked about how this side gets more shade. So we do have these closer together, but they should do really, really well here. Our little lavender rose, it is bloomed out, but you can tell it had a great show on it. Our bird bath is nasty with algae, so we'll have to get that cleaned out so the birds can have a good place to drink water. And then our little baby blue spruce is doing so good and pushing out new growth. Isn't that pretty? We saw so many pretty spruces in the mountains. They were so gorgeous. And then we have our boxwoods. They're doing good, putting on some new growth as well. And the Dusty Miller that we wintered over has some little shoots coming up on it, so I may trim that up a little bit. And then we have our serendipity alliums. And we have the ones in the pot that still needs to be planted because we were going to do like a little cluster here of those. Now these are our hydrangeas here that are still struggling, but you know, I'm trying to limp them along. We'll see. They've got holes in them. This one has sclerosis. The deer just kept eating them and eating them, so we'll see what happens with those. And then I have this these look so bad over here, so these definitely need to get out of their pots ASAP. This is a Nepeta, but it's pink. And then we have our false hollies there, and then we have the little spruce that I forgot to plant last time. So this is our little menagerie of plants here that need to be planted. But overall, this is looking pretty good. And this area over here really doesn't have too many weeds. We need to kind of clean up the edge with the grass. But other than that, I think it's looking pretty good to be away for 10 days. So let's go over to the other side of the porch. Okay, so we're on the left side of the porch now, and the daylilies in this area are absolutely gorgeous right now. Look how pretty they are. Oh, they're so pretty. These are endless summer hydrangeas. This is the blushing bride, and look how pretty. So you could tell probably last week they would have been in their full flush of blooms, but they are doing so good. I do have to watch these very closely for rust and also for chlorosis. So right now they're doing good. We're trying to keep them fertilized really well. The snow drifts are doing good through here as well. You can tell this left side is a lot more mature than the right because the right does get more shade. And then check out the size of this blossom. Oh my goodness, guys, it is huge. They are so beautiful. I'm so excited. They're doing so much better this year. And so hopefully maybe the right side will catch up. And then we have our drift of our Supertunia Vista Bubblegums. And look, guys, wonk, wonk, wonk. Remember that day I spent 2 hours out here weeding? Well, the weeds have came back, so I've got to weed again. I think I really need to put down some more pine straw. Our Nepeta, they've had their beautiful first flush of color, so I need to get those trimmed back. And the exciting thing is our Limelight. So let me go over our little fence here and give you a look. Check out how big these Limelight hydrangeas have gotten. Do y'all remember they were like down to here? Look how much growth they have put on in just this like couple of months. And then they are getting blooms, which is super exciting. Look at this one. Oh my goodness, guys. They have gotten so big. I am so excited about these. They are looking a little bit yellow, so we probably need to go ahead and get some fertilizer on them. But look at that bloom coming out. Oh my goodness, it's going to be so pretty. And then the contrast between the Limelight and the Starry Night hibiscus. Look at that. Isn't that beautiful? With that dark foliage and then the lime green. So pretty. And then here's our Nepeta. They just really did so good this year. So this is the cat's pajamas. And you can still see the little bumblebees all over it still. So it's like you hate to even give them a little haircut because the bees are still loving them so much. But I do want them to flush out again. And they are just gorgeous this year. They were so tiny last year. And then we have our little boxwoods here. And our Dusty Miller. And some weeds. So this Dusty Miller's going to flowering, which is really pretty. And then who do we have here? Hi, Miss Winnie. Miss Winnie's doing good. She was so excited to see her Nene. Weren't you, Miss Winnie? Yeah. She's a sweet girl. She's doing good from her surgery, so she's all healed up. So we're so excited that she's feeling better so she can have a good summer. Look at the back side of this one. Oh my goodness. So pretty. Oh goodness, I love hydrangeas. Love them. All right, so let's go to the back and we'll take a look to see what it looks like back there. Okay, so now we're in the backyard. Our neighbor is doing a little workshop building. So I did put on my microphone, so hopefully that will help with the sounds of the nails and the saws and everything like that. So let me turn the camera around and show you the backyard. This flower container here has done so beautiful. I told my daughter, I said, if I could do these colors everywhere in my garden, I would. So we have the Sun Patience, and we have the Euphorbia. We have the beautiful ivy going up our little Obelisk here. And then I think that's it. Yeah, that's all that's in this container. And it is just absolutely gorgeous. I just love the way this looks. And it just lights up at night. So it is doing so, so good. Let's go over here and see my shade garden. So I have a couple plants here that I need to get in the ground that are getting very crispy. So I was actually going to plant a lot of this stuff before I left, but then my mom got sick, so I just kind of just left everything on hold. And it's just going to sit here and wait for me until I can get to it. So we do have some weeds here. The hostas are doing really, really beautiful. And the heuchera is doing good. The weed is doing really good. And then we go over here and we have another heuchera. And then we have the lungwort. And it is just so, so pretty. But we will definitely get this cleaned out. Let's go over there and see the other shade bed. So this shade bed definitely has a lot more color because we have the impatiens and we have some chrysanthemums in here. But you can see we have the little bleeding hearts and no more little hearts on it, but it's still very pretty foliage. Then we have the lungwort here and this heuchera. Look at this. Check her out. She is doing fabulous. I guess she likes a little bit more sun because not the other one on the other side is not as big. But she is living her best life. The hostas are doing good. The impatiens have kind of like doubled in size. Really pretty. And then we have the chrysanthemum here that we wintered over. And then we have our little columbine. It's done its little flush, so I need to cut it back. Oh my goodness, guys. I think we have a squash in here or something. Yes, that is some kind of squash plant. That is hilarious. So I guess we'll just kind of see what happens there. It looks like a squash though. And then we have more impatiens. Last year we just did the white impatiens and I really like that look. But it's kind of nice to do something with a little color this time. The weeds aren't as bad as the other side. And then look at this chrysanthemum. It is in full bloom 1st of June. So this is what happens when you don't pinch back the flowers, but that's okay. I'm just loving it. I think it looks beautiful to have it here this time of year. And then as we peek through the fence here, I won't go out because Winnie's out here with me, but we can see that the foxglove is finished blooming and I'm going to collect some of the seeds from that. So that'll be really neat. My dad wanted some seeds for his garden. So our little shade bed over here is doing really, really good. Beautiful. Y'all, this was just rocks. Literally, last year was just rocks. It was awful. So this, such a delight. So pretty. Now let's go take a look at the cottage garden. Okay, guys, are you ready? You ready to see the cottage garden? Look at how beautiful. So do y'all remember this was just dirt? Just dirt, grass, and mud. And this is what it has transformed into in just a couple of months. So this is our lace cap hydrangea. This is the one that we took from Virginia to New Jersey and knocked all the leaves off of it. And it sat in a container all summer last year. And this is what it looks like now. Absolutely beautiful. If I could have these all through the garden, I would, because I love the color. They're just gorgeous. How do you even explain how gorgeous they are? And then over here, the Senorita Rosalita, the Cleome. absolutely gorgeous with a little bee there just doing their little thing. So pretty. Then we have our zinnias that we got from Floret that we grew from seed. Those are doing good. And then our snapdragons, these are the snapdragons that we wintered over and we transplanted. So they are doing really, really well. And then as we go through here, we have our incredible hydrangeas that we transplanted this from the front yard to the backyard. And look at this beautiful hosta bloom in here. I know some people don't like the hosta blooms, but I think they're gorgeous. So, so pretty. Okay, and now our phlox have started to bloom. Look how pretty that is. And they smell so good. These are the ones by Monrovia that are supposed to be less susceptible to powdery mildew. Heuchera is looking pretty. Our sedum are just starting to get their little florets on them. Look how pretty. They look like broccoli. Our angel wing Senosio is just glowing here in the garden. Our tall guy arborvitaes are looking beautiful. Another one of the blooms from the hosta. Look how pretty. And then I want to show you a close-up on this phlox. Doesn't it look like it just glows with having the center as a darker pink? They are so pretty. And then going over here, look at this hydrangea. So far, they are doing so good from their transplant. I'm so excited. Then we have our little bay tree over here that we can get bay from whenever we're wanting to cook with it. And this little zinnia finally has a little bud. So pretty. Our ground cover is starting to fill in with our ornamental oregano. Looking really pretty. We have a peony here. And then our lamium. Then our incredibles. Look at this combination. So pretty. So we have our snapdragon to the left, our Senorita Rosalita, and then we have our incredible. So pretty. Here is another one of the little geraniums, apple blossom, that we grew from seed. And I just put it in a pot and kind of put it out here in the garden. And finally, our catmint is starting to bloom. It is doing so good. It just felt like it just sat and sat and sat because this was the first year that we planted it. But it's doing so well now. And then I want to show you, we have this little beautiful display right here on the front. So this is a lantana. I think these two are by Monrovia. So we have a yellow one and a white one. This is a little lavender that my daughter bought. It's so neat to have your kids' flowers in your garden because they're so proud of them. This is a lavender that I grew from seed last year. And this is lavender that I grew from a cutting that the bumblebee is just, they're both enjoying it. So this was a little cutting and I just propagated it and it's doing so beautiful. And then we have our sedum. This is the autumn joy sedum. It is going to be so gorgeous when it comes out in bloom. We have our beautiful lamb's ear, our bidon, our phlox, and then here is our Alnwick rose. So it did bloom. It had one bloom on it. I'll toss a picture up on the screen. My daughter sent me a picture of them. It was so pretty. They said it smelled so good. Here is our platinum blonde lavender by the Southern Living Plant Collection. And then we have this beautiful alyssum that I planted from seed and our little patio peach. And let me show you close up. Look at here. We still have peaches. Some of them fell off, but then we have some of them that are still on there. So I'm so excited about these little peaches. I've heard they're not very sweet, but it'll be still nice to have. Here is our Claire Austin rose. This is our climbing rose from David Austin. And as you can see, it had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I don't know, had a lot of blooms on it. So we'll have to deadhead that. I can't wait to see it flush out myself. And then over here, we have more of our catmint, our Incrediballs, and check out this one. Oh my goodness, guys. It is doing so good. So they start in like this limey green color, and then they go to white. They are so pretty. Then we have our little row of snapdragons. These are ones that we grew in the winter sowing method. Look how short they are, and they're blooming. They're so cute. And then we have our little lupine here, and it's doing pretty good. It was struggling at the beginning because it had a cricket that was eating on it. And I think our little peony might have gotten squished by the dogs. We have our oregano there. And then look through here. You can see our ornamental oregano growing there. And then our eucalyptus. Oh, it smells so good. And then one of the other workhorses in the garden this year has been this apricot drift rose. It still has some beautiful blossoms on it. But as you can see, it's already had a big flush of blooms. This will be the second flush that it's had this year. But it also smells incredible. And just look at the inside, the yellow part. It just glows. It is so pretty. We have another repeat of our lamium with a little tiny bloom on it right now. And then our ornamental oregano that's just stretching out towards the sun. The Incrediball, the lamb's ear, the tall guy. I just can't believe these. Oh my goodness, the catmint. This was just sitting here doing nothing when I left 10 days ago. Then we have our iris here, and then look what we have here, guys. You know, I'm always talking about growing stuff in containers. So don't let it deter you from growing fruit, because you can grow fruit in containers too. This is our blackberry that we've had since 2020, and it's thornless, which is awesome, and it has blackberries on it every year. So it's doing so good. Let's take a look at our garden beside the pool and see how it's doing. Okay, so here is our Lady of Shallot, and she has bloomed out as well. I hated that I missed it last week, but that's okay. We'll get these deadheaded, and I think it's going to be beautiful again. Then we go over here. We have a hydrangea, and then we have a cute little vinca here. That's just a beautiful pop of white. I need to do some more of that. And then we have more of our nepeta that the bumblebees are just loving. Then we have our pink muley grass. So this will get pink in the winter or fall time. And then look at this, guys. Look at our amazing daisy. This is the Banana Cream 2 by Proven Winners. Isn't she beautiful? With the purple nepeta, and then we're going to have the pink autumn joy sedum. And this is the Banana Cream as well. Look how pretty. More of the nepeta and the pink muley grass. And then this was very surprising when I got home. My marigolds that I grew from seed, they are supposed to be white, but they're more of a yellow color. And I don't really like the way they look. I mean, they have pretty dark colored stems, but in this application, in this pot, I don't think I like it. So I think I'm going to take them out and put them in the background somewhere, because I do like to have them. But I think we're going to move these around because they're like the Thriller and no filler. That's like they have on high pants. And there's nothing in between them. Like high waters. All right, so we're going to probably change that pot around, but that'll be fun. And then we have more of our daisies. Look how pretty. And then going around here, this little daisy is not doing the best, but maybe she'll pull out of it. More of our pink muley grass. our Nepeta. And this is another one of the amazing daisies. So pretty. And then we have a new hydrangea this year. I'm going to have to look up the name, but this is the one that I bought with Kim when I went to see her at Backyard Blooms by Kim. But it is really gorgeous and doing so great in this area. And then to end it off here, we have our sweet potato vine that has just been following me around from house to house. I just cut it back every year and leave the tubers in there, and it just comes back every spring. So it's doing really good. And here's my daughter's lilac. And then we have some sedum here that needs to be transplanted desperately. And these are our dahlias that we grew from the winter sowing method that need to be planted out as well. And then we have one more plant here amongst all of our weeds. And let me get the name of it for you. This is called a Queen Mum Agapanthus. So pretty. So this is our last area that we need to work on, removing the rocks and the weeds and all of the mess. So this is definitely a couple of day project to get this done. All right, guys, so let's go over and see all of our fruit trees. These are the figs that I propagated from my dad's fig tree in Butler, Georgia. So they are doing really well since we planted them up. And this is the Cavalier fig that I got from Phil at Phil's Figs. And it is doing beautiful. And this is the Olympian fig that we got from Lowe's. And this is our other brown turkey fig that we had gotten last year that we did some propagations from. Here is our blueberry, and it's a lemonade. And I just underplanted it with some alyssum because it didn't really have much fruit on it this year because it's brand new. Then we have another blueberry here, and I think we're pretty much done with our blueberries here as well, but it's still pretty with the alyssum planted underneath. Here is our little strawberries and our fall gold raspberry, and see, we have a little strawberry, guys. So it is doing really good since we got it put in its new little home, pushing lots of new growth. And then here is our other blueberry. This is the one that we've had since 2020 that's moved from Virginia to New Jersey to North Carolina. They just move with us wherever we go. So they're doing good. I think something's trying to eat on that one. So we definitely need to get this one covered real quick. And then right here we have a little rose that we've just been limping along. But you guys can see it's just not as healthy as the David Austin rose. So I don't know. This one might have to go and take another seat in the garden because, you know, you only want pretty things to be in your garden. This one just does not look pretty. All right, so let's go to the back and I'm going to show you our little fruit trees. Okay, so on our way to the fruit trees, I wanted to show you my daughter's little flower bed here. So her little violas are looking a little tired from the hot weather, so we need to get those pulled up. But her little wildflower mix is doing really, really cute. This was just one of the little wildflower mixes that you can buy at Walmart. So we need to do a little bit. Her little trailing vinca is doing good. So overall, looks super cute in front of her little bunny barn here. This is our peach tree that the deer have broke twice. So it doesn't have any peaches on it. Not looking the best. This peach tree here does have 2 peaches. So we have this little fence area here and another fence area here. Just trying to protect this little peach tree. This is our apple tree. No apples on it this year. But it was just planted last year, so that's okay. And then we have another apple tree here. Same thing, no fruit. But they are very, very pretty. Okay, so we have 3 muscadines. Here is one of our muscadines that my dad brought me from one of his neighbors in Georgia. He brought me 4, and we were able to keep 3 alive. So they all do need to be fertilized, and he also said they need to be mulched, so I need to do that. And then we have our little grape, and it has exciting little grapes on it. So I know everything's just babies, guys, but you know it's exciting when they're brand new like this to actually have a little bit of fruit on them. And the last update that I have from being gone for 10 days is my daughter Savannah decided to take after these woods, and she worked for like 2 days, and she just went through and took down all the vines, the little tiny pine trees, and she's just trying to clean this area out, and I think it's going to be so pretty. And think about all the shade plants that we can plant in these areas once they're developed. Oh my goodness, guys, it'll be so beautiful. My friend Lynn Purse, on her YouTube channel, she has a woodland habitat garden, and it is absolutely beautiful going through her woods. And her garden has inspired me so much to develop our garden through here. So it'll be so nice that we can just have like a path going through the woods here, and we can have all kinds of plants that like to grow in the shade, and we already have beautiful ferns that are already growing. So that's super exciting. Thank you guys so much for joining me on this little walk through our garden. It has been so neat to come back in 10 days and see how much it's grown since then, because it just really exploded with color when I was gone. So it's already getting hot here. I had really gotten used to those cool temperatures on the mountain, so I'm definitely going to have to work back into gardening because it is already getting super hot and super humid here. But I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope you have a chance to get in your garden today. Bye, friends.